everybody, Levi Clay here, and today we're going to start a series looking at the melodic minor scale. Now before I get started, I just want to say thank you for watching, and if you do enjoy this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like the video, drop a comment below and all of that good stuff, because YouTube is really good at making sure nobody sees your videos, so it's a big help when you do that. Anyway, so what is the melodic minor scale and what do we intend to do with it today? Well, today we're going to learn what the melodic minor scale is. We're going to learn how you go about learning the fingerings for it. I'm going to teach you in depth the fingerings for the scale all over the neck. That's very important. And the system with which I have that fingering and have them in place, and the way I kind of learnt them without it really being that much of a big deal. You see, when it came to learning melodic minor, it was something I kept putting off and kept putting off and kept putting off. Because it meant learning a bunch more fingerings. But when I really understood what the scale was, it became very quick and easy to learn these fingerings, and now I couldn't really live without them. It's a big part of my vocabulary, which leads on to the next thing, right? Why we're using the scale and how we're going to go about using this in everyday musical contexts. The scale has a wonderfully unique and mysterious sound to it, and it is a scale in its own right, and therefore it has 7 of its own modes as well. And while the melodic minor scale itself might not be the most used of those modes, you'll need to know it in order to play other modes of the scale which are very common, like Lydian dominant or super Locrian, or another one that I'm a big fan of would be Mixolydian flat 6. Locrian natural 2 is another one that you'll absolutely come up against these scales when playing in jazz, but it's not limited to those styles. It's something you can absolutely apply to the blues, and you can apply it to rock music and metal music and country music. It really is a cool and interesting influence to bring into things. So let's start with the very basics, the theory behind this bad boy. What is the melodic minor scale? First up, you're going to need to really know the natural minor scale. Now, I'm not going to sit here and teach you that scale in depth. If you don't know that scale really well, you're not ready for this video. Check out some more videos on the natural minor scale so you know that thing really well, so when I develop it, you'll not be left behind. Anyway, if we do this all in the key of D, the D natural minor scale sounds like this. Now, what is that? Well, you could look at it and say it's the relative minor of the F major scale, but I want to think of things from the perspective of D being my root. So we've got the root, the second, and the flat third, the fourth, the fifth, and the flat 6. We've got the flat 7 and the root. Or in terms of note names, that would be D, E, F, G, A, B flat, C, and D. D, E, F, G, A, B flat, C, and D. Now that's the natural minor scale. You will have heard this a lot. If we just think of, in terms of rock music, Mr. Crowley, there you go, an Ozzy Osbourne tune, that's very much in D minor. And when you look at Randy Rhoads' soloing approach on that, you're going to learn all of these great D minor licks. It has a dark and classical sound to it, but not too classical, but we'll come on to that. It's totally a sound that you're going to use and hear a lot in rock. If you think of Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven, the solo section in that's very much natural minor. Freebird, another great example of a song that you can solo over using natural minor. Very common scale, but it has a bit of a problem with it. And that problem comes in terms of its harmony. Now, when you deal with the chords that are in that scale, in the D minor scale, what you'll find is you've got a D minor, you've got an E minor 7 flat 5, you've got an F major 7, you've got a G minor 7, an A minor 7, that's the important one, and B flat major 7, and then C 7. I don't think I have my volume up, but that's not really important. The point is, chord 5 in that D minor scale is an A minor chord. Of course it is. A minor has the note C in it. Now, in terms of Western harmony, most of our harmony is built on this idea of 5-1. The dominant chord, which resolves to our 1 chord, takes us home. And this scale doesn't contain that. That makes it not ideal for, harmonic improvisation, if you like. You may see where we're going with this in terms of the name. So what some very clever people realised many hundreds of years ago is if you take the 7th degree of that scale and raise it up a semitone, you get, well, what you could call the harmonic minor scale. The harmonic minor scale sounds like this. As I say, it's that natural minor scale but with a raised 7th. Now when I do that, what you're going to find is we now have D, E, F, G, A, B flat, and then C sharp. Now if we go back to that A minor chord that I talked about, well, A minor has the note C in it. But we've now changed the note from C to a C sharp. So that gives us that major quality to that chord, to the 5 chord in the key. So you will often hear chord progressions like, well, D minor to B flat to A7. Now you can absolutely look at that A7 chord and say, well, that's not in the key of D minor. No, it's borrowed from that D harmonic minor scale, and you call it secondary dominant chord. Anyway, like I say, this isn't a lesson on harmonic minor. The important thing to take from that is that C sharp. Now, when you look at the scale, though, what you find is D, E, F, G, A, B flat, C sharp. That B flat going to C sharp is a big jump. It's not the most pleasing sound in terms of Western melody. Now, don't get me wrong, it's absolutely a sound that is common in like the Baltic regions, and you'll hear it in a lot of gypsy jazz music, and it instantly gives that kind of Eastern European sound, to my ears at least. And that, again, comes from this idea of that scale that contains a flat third leap in it. That doesn't sound overly smooth to my ears. Of course not, because it's a jump, it's a minor third leap rather than a smoother stepwise motion. So we came up with a way around that. If you take that same harmonic minor scale and you raise the 6th degree, so D, E, F, G, A, B natural, C, get a scale that is called the melodic minor scale, and we use this scale as a way where you can derive its own, own harmony from it. But the main reason this works so well is because it removes that minor third leap. It's a slightly smoother approach to things. Sometimes I will use that harmonic minor, but melodic minor has its own, cool and smooth sound. It's not as jarring, and yeah, I generally prefer it for a lot of, outside improvisation concepts and contexts, I should say. So that is our melodic minor scale. It's the natural minor scale with a raised 6th and a raised 7th. Or in terms of intervals, you could call that 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. That's really, really important. Now, the problem you will often see with this is people saying to you, the melodic minor scale is just the major scale with a flat third. And technically, when you look at the intervals, you can see where they're coming from. But the problem with that is it doesn't give you a lot of context. It doesn't really tell you where to use it. It's much, much, much easier to think of the melodic minor scale as being the Dorian mode with a raised 7th. Dorian with a raised 7th. And that's the most important part of this first lesson. The melodic minor scale is Dorian with a raised 7th. So what you can take from that is, if you don't know the Dorian mode extremely well, if you can't play fluently with the Dorian mode, you're not ready for melodic minor. Why am I doing it this way? Why am I talking about melodic minor from the sense of Dorian? It's context driven. Any place where I would play Dorian, any place whatsoever, I will also substitute in melodic minor, because it's a slightly kind of ear-twisting version of that Dorian scale. So anywhere where you're going to hear a minor chord, I'll absolutely play melodic minor. If I was playing, let's go A minor 7 to D7. You've got your Dorian. That is all going to work fine. But then when I start introducing that melodic minor sound, which will be this, It's a really cool sound that you can use on there, and it doesn't sound too outside, it's just bringing in a new flavour. So that's the important part of this first lesson, learning that the melodic minor scale is Dorian, but with that raised 7th degree. So that's the theory. I want you to go away and I want you to really learn that, get that under your fingers. And then I will be back for part 2, where we're going to deal with the fingerings of the scale. Now it's going to be a long video, longish anyway, but it's very, very important. So yeah, and I'm pre-warning you, Dorian with a raised 7th. That's going to be incredibly important for learning all of these fingerings of this scale, and you're going to find it super easy. So lastly, I just want to say a huge thanks to these people over here. These are some of my supporters over on patreon.com. They keep these videos coming to you, so thank you very much to these guys. And if you want to check me out on there, you know, there is a link below, and all of that good stuff gets you access to my private Patreon-only Facebook group, where, you know, we get to talk about lessons like this in a lot more detail. There's a good I think 105 people in that group now, and we're all talking music all the time. So if you want to join us, check me out on Patreon. Yeah, so if you have any questions, let me know in that comment section below. Hit that like button, and you can subscribe by clicking this button down here. You can check me out on Patreon by clicking that button up there, and you can check out 2 more videos here and here. Thank you so much for all the support, guys, and I will see you for another Melodic Minor video tomorrow.